In slide 110, we see the second transformational concept of material, and that is in-here depth. In Poppers, they say that the in-here depth is as deep as the stars are far away. One of the things about atoms that we have learned from modern physics is that they are an embodiment of behavior that is located within an out there space around us, around the atom. And that is true also of people. We have an embodied in here deep behavior consciousness. And through that consciousness and that deep behavior, we join as a participant in the out there space of pointing dimensions around us. To state it here again, the second concept is that there's an embodied in here dimension of deep behavior that joins as a participant in the out there space of pointing dimensions around us. If you think about that, that is true all the way from the smallest atom to the human being. In the atom, there's this cauldron of inner behavior that participates in gravity and other phenomenon. And for the human being, there's this deep inner consciousness by which we join in perception and in expression with the things around us. Now, this is, again, transformative versus informative. This kind of thinking takes time to soak in. It takes practice to bring to realization. But doing so can transform the way you think about self, other, and belonging. In slide 115, we see that a lingering question that has lingered for a long time finds new life. And my favorite times that I recall during this time of work from 2003 on through now are those times when key insight has bubbled up from a dream or through a series of dreams in the case of Graypaw, the soccer ball dream here, or insight that bubbles up on the edge of sleep. As you're going toward the edge of sleep, there's sort of a surf that you go through where you can be alert and quiet and still attentive to thoughts, but where your body has eased down into a sleep kind of condition. And insight can really bubble up there. And also that's just a form of meditation. So meditation can do the same thing. The question that had lingered way back then is this: could separate atoms somehow be joined on the inside? That seems impossible if you think of in terms of material. So could a material thing be on the inside of every atom? No. But having the physical relation idea sink in to where it's an issue of participants. The soccer ball dream visually illustrated that there could be a common participant in the behavior of each atom. The soccer ball is like, it has facets, as you can see from that little picture of a soccer ball. And in the dream, each facet was like the skin of a conga drum. And from that conga drum skin facet, there was a chamber that went down and got smaller and down to the center region that is common to all of the facets of the soccer ball. And so participation within that common center could be a participant within the collective behavior of separate atoms. So that was a visual idea, and that's depicted down on the bottom. I just drew this one up where there's something in the center of that circle that appears as a participant or that engages in the collective behavior of separate atoms. The one on the right is just a higher dimensional, so that's like a sphere, and you can see two little chambers going down to a center region in that one too. So a single participant in the center can be common to all distant surface facets. Well, this realization and that answer that separate atoms could be joined on the inside in this way, then that sent me down the slippery slope into the flatland, sphereland entrance ramp that I talked about in the previous video. Slide 120 illustrates how these thoughts brought me to Berger's Circle Land. In the right, you see a circle, or on the left, you see these two circles that represent Circle Land. I started thinking about what would an atom look like in Circle Land, and so you imagine them as you see in those pictures on the left. And the early idea was that atoms join on the inside through by being connected to the common center, and also through having participation from one atom to the other. That was a really rough idea, and it led to the right, as you see, it led eventually to the idea of a web that's inside Circle Land. The boundary circle around the web is not part of the web. That just illustrates that Circle Land can be thought of, the story of Circle Land can be thought of as a boundary within which the web fits. And we've seen that the Circle Land idea cannot be true of our universe, but the web idea, it's not restrained by the Kobe satellite experiment that shows that light travels flat. And I've talked about that before. So this illustrates how went down the slippery slope into Circle Land by Berger and discovered that the inside could be a web. And from there, we ended up in toy physics.